control. And there's where accident comes in, you see. Because you can control vehicle. You might think you can control vehicle, but you can control vehicle, you see. So I think that will be a good idea.
In traffic cones, I had no idea they were doing it. I'm taken aback, to be honest. I think it's pitiful and abysmal, to be honest. Are they not even announced that they're doing it?
It's an experiment at the moment.
Right, okay, but there's nothing on the roadside to say they're doing it?
No, well, there are roadside speed camera signs at the moment. I mean, if they come in all over the place, what would you feel as a motorist, though?
Well, I'm disappointed about the number of cones around anyway at the moment. So if they're just putting cones up for the sake of attracting speeding motorists, I think that's wrong. They do have other methods at their disposal for catching motorists that are speeding.
You've kicked them, you've cursed them, you've put them on top of phone boxes to try and get them out of the way. But just remember one thing. The cone always wins.
So there is a use for traffic cones after all. And now something completely different. Back in February, Faz Hussain visited a radio station, but not just any radio station, Sunrise Radio in Hounslow.
This is Sunrise Radio.
The day never moves slow, 'cause all day long I got my radio. Got the greatest radio station in the world. Sunrise Radio.
Good morning, London. Come alive. Welcome to breakfast. Tony Patty with you here this morning, doing the business with you till 9 o'clock. Rise and shine. Well, shall we have breakfast together? Incidentally, it's lovely waking up with you this morning. If I am on your alarm clocks this morning, I'm delighted to be so as well. Broadcasting to the capital, the home counties, and beyond, south of England, and indeed on your satellites too. Good morning, welcome to Sunrise and Breakfast with Tony Patty.
From sunshine and music, 14:13 a.m.
Tony, tell us about the back rooms of Sunrise Radio.
The back rooms or the background of Sunrise Radio? Well, basically we broadcast to a huge audience in the London area and beyond, surrounding areas. What's been quite good to see is that we are actually now filling a gap which has never been filled before by any other radio station, whether it be the BBC or any other independent broadcasting company. Since we've been on the air, we've noticed a considerable response in what we've been doing as far as listeners are concerned. We've been putting them in touch with their own community, and we've been filling a big cultural gap which they otherwise felt that they've missed out on in years gone past. There are kids who are growing up in this country who somehow are missing out culturally, and we've been filling that gap for them.
Tony, how and what sort of feedback do you get from your listeners?
Fantastic. Well, the programs, for a start, if I can begin by saying, the programs are very diverse. We have a different program for a different time of the day with a broad-ranging set of presenters, all very professional. And we cater from everything from children right up to the old age group, the pensioners who are sitting at home. So each program that we do at different times of day is designed specifically to target that particular audience. And of course, being a commercial station, we have to obviously take into consideration that we need to target the business community. But listener response has been great, both from young and old.
What do you think of Sunrise Radio as a community service that's provided?
Oh, it's a very good news from Sunrise Radio. People can understand, people can came from Holland, Germany, they know us. So now we got advertised from Sunrise Radio and they know where is our shop. They came in South Hall, Broadway.
How about the music they play?
Oh, it's a very good music and program. They give a good songs.
Why do you listen to Sunrise Radio?
I think it's a very good radio station and it reflects the Asian community very well. And it has a good variety of DJs and good music. And I think it's a very good thing to have in a British society.
Okay, I have with me now Mr. Sangira, local businessman in Southall. Mr. Sangira, do you advertise on Sunrise Radio?
Yes, we do advertise on Sunrise Radio, quite regularly.
And how long have you been advertising on Sunrise Radio?
Well, we've been advertising since we came to this area in Southall, which is about 3.5 years. We've been advertising regularly on Sunrise Radio.
And how has it affected your business?
It has affected us quite a lot, especially at the beginning when we first advertised there, to let everybody know that we were in this area. Now it's gone London-wide, we have branches in East London, and it started on the 1st of January of this year, and we find that in East London people listen to the radio quite a lot, and it's affected us quite regularly.
Why do you listen to Sunrise Radio?
Well, Sunrise Radio is a good community radio, especially for Asians, and it gives you a lot of information, especially the news for local and abroad, which we don't get from other radios. And it's good. It gives us a good music as well, and family entertainment. I listen from time to time, but my wife, she does most of the time, and it's good fun to listen to some of the programs which are very nice and informative.
And of course, competition time. Everyone's a winner right here on Sunrise. Good morning. What have we got for you?
14:13 a.m.
What happens to your day?
They never move slow, cause all day long I got my radio. Got the greatest radio station in the world. Sunrise Radio.
This is Sunrise Radio.
With me now, I have Dr. Avtar Lit, Chief Executive of Sunrise Radio. Dr. Lit, the extent of the success at Sunrise Radio, is that something that's gone to plan, or has it taken you by surprise?
I think there was always a need for a 24-hour Asian radio service, and we started out in West London. Now obviously it's gone throughout South East of England, with a station in the Midlands and one in North of England, Yorkshire, and of course the service on satellite across Europe. I think part of the success was there was a need for such a service, and which the Asian people needed for many, many years, and we fulfilled that need, and so it took off very well.
How pleasing is it to know that the everyday change that you brought to the everyday life of the listeners?
I mean, primarily we're in the business of running a radio service. You know, in this particular case, we're running a service for the Asian community. Had it been for the Eskimos, or perhaps the Greek, or the Spanish, or the Italian, the feeling would have been the same. The fact is that there was a great need for a 24-hour Asian radio station, and the vehicle wasn't available, the legislation in the Parliament, when we first started out, and we had to go the long way around it. And the fact is that, you know, it's a bonding factor for the Asian community across the UK, and we're very pleased that the station has been successful, and our target audience is very happy.
I was reading my stars earlier on this morning. They said I was going to be rich and famous. I said, keep on dreaming, Tony Patty. One day we'll be there, one day.
A life on the ocean wave. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Faz Hussain there, looking at Sunrise Radio. Tom Magner's had quite a busy year so far. Apart from looking at traffic cones, he's also been looking at the more serious subject of domestic violence.
Whoever coined the phrase, "an Englishman's home is his castle," left out two vital factors. There's no mention of Englishwomen, nor is there any mention of what happens when that castle turns into a prison. Whether it happens on a high-rise estate or behind the net curtains of deepest suburbia, domestic violence strikes at the very heart of a relationship. A case in point is Sally from Surrey. She'll only tell her story if we keep her true identity secret. Sally, you've been through an experience which has taken you through 9 years of all sorts of emotions. How did events unfold?
We were good together for about 4 or 5 months. It was a really nice relationship. Then it started going wrong. He was drinking and things like that, and it just got worse, gradually worse.
Some people say that to live together is a test. You know someone after that.
Yeah, that's true to a certain extent, but when you're with someone that is hurts you, they tend to manipulate you. They tend to take all your self-confidence and all that stuff away. So, in a normal relationship, yes, you do know people when you live with them. With someone that's really sort of like pressurising you and things like that, those sort of thoughts go out of your mind. You don't think of things like that. You just think, well, is it going to start an argument? Shall I just agree to stop the argument?
And what about, you've had children as well. I mean, what sort of effect did it have on them?
It has a very... People think it doesn't have an effect on the children, but it does. The eldest one's a bit dubious of him, because she's been there and seen it. The youngest one knows nothing. It does affect them. I mean, they've gone back in school, work and all that sort of stuff. They've lost